Saturdays, ESPN on ABC.
Death Valley is rocking today as Clemson plays host to its in-state rival, the South Carolina Gamecocks. Dabo Swinney and the Tigers need a win today to keep their college football playoff hopes alive. Their chances buoyed by Spencer Rattler and the Gamecocks last Saturday in their history-making performance against Tennessee.
Tennessee's looking at it like, let's keep winning football games. Everything will take care of itself. But you're on the road in the SEC. It's always a challenge.
Rattler steps up. It's caught. Touchdown, South Carolina. Rattler, long throw. End zone. Caught. Are you kidding me? They are putting a thumping on the 5th-ranked Vols.
I've been telling people we got a good football team, and we're just getting started here at Carolina.
And welcome everyone to Clemson, South Carolina on a glorious day in the upstate of South Carolina. It's the ACC on ESPN. It also involves the SEC. And welcome to college football on ABC, presented by Arby's. Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge, delighted to have you with us as this great rivalry is renewed. It's an important game for both teams. Clemson is 10-1. They've won 16 out of 17 back to last year. And yet, Todd, just number 8 in the college football rankings that came out, college football playoff rankings that came out this week. Must-win situation, but there's still a path to the Final Four.
Absolutely, there's a path. I mean, all they can focus on is take care of their own business, win the last 2, finish 12-1 as a conference champion, and hope for some help with the teams in front of them. A lot can happen in the last 2 weeks. This Clemson team may not be as flashy as others we've seen, but they win, and they found different ways to win all year.
And they got help from their rivals from South Carolina last Saturday. They knocked number 5 Tennessee out of the picture. An unbelievable win. We'll get into that as we go along. And Shane Beamer, their coach, said to his team after that win, now you really have a chance to change the narrative of this program and the trajectory for Gamecock football going forward.
Yeah, the big question, can they do it 2 weeks in a row? They're going to need a similar performance from their quarterback, Spencer Rattler. He's got to stay hot against a great defensive front that's going to pressure him. And then defensively, I think they've got to really sell out against the run and trust their corners on islands in the passing game for Clemson.
Clemson has won the last 7 head-to-head in this rivalry. That is the longest streak for either team. Dabo Swinney and the Tigers arrive trying to win their 41st straight home game. Well, the opening kickoff right after this. This is the Palmetto Bowl, the battle for the unofficial state championship in South Carolina. Bragging rights on the line in a small state where either you're for Clemson or you're for South Carolina. 119th meeting dating back to 1896. And down on the field, here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, South Carolina wide receiver Decarrion Joyner said this isn't just a rivalry game, it's a revenge game because they haven't beaten Clemson in 9 years. Now, Joyner's a South Carolina native. He has this game circled on his calendar every single year. And he said this year he's determined to prove that their team should not be overlooked. And last week's win over Tennessee was not a fluke. Now, this team knows well that Clemson could lose their playoff chances if they lose this game. And they're determined to play spoiler. Players telling me they would love to knock off the 2nd straight team in a row out of the playoffs.
E.T. Potter, the touchback, as is his custom. South Carolina won the toss. Shane Beamer elected to get the offense right out there after they put 63 on the Vols in Columbia last Saturday, led by Spencer Rattler, who threw for a career-high 438, 4th highest total in South Carolina history. And he's the first quarterback in Gamecock history to throw 6, count them, 6 touchdown passes. Heading into that game, he had thrown 8 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions for the year and was averaging 198 per game passing. He comes out slinging on first down, a low throw and a catch made for a 3-yard gain by Jalen Brooks. Rattler, of course, the transfer from Oklahoma. 7-4. He started every game this year for Carolina after he went 15-2 in 17 starts for the Sooners. What a difference last week compared to the first 10.
Well, he got off to a good start last week, and it's important for him to get off to one here on the road against this Clemson front.
He came out aggressively. His pass incomplete. He was trying to get it to Brooks again, who got tangled up with the defender. They set the tone early last week on offense. Aggressive game plan.
Yep.
And they went for it on a couple of fourth downs early in the game. And Rattler had a nice pocket all night long. Wes Goodwin, the defensive coordinator, will be matching wits with Marcus Satterfield of South Carolina, said the game plan today, rattle Rattler.
Well, and on 3rd and long is when Clemson is at their best. They were 8 for 11 last week on 3rd down, South Carolina, but they had very manageable distances to go.
Given time, zings it, but short of the first down. Austin Stogner, who also transferred from Oklahoma in his first year with Shane Beamer and South Carolina. Well, we'll see. Is he going to be aggressive early in the game and go for it in his own 34? No, he will not.
It's 4th down. They're going to punt, and interestingly, Clemson's just keeping their defense on the field because of the respect for Shane Beamer, the special teams, the possibility of fake punts. Just a safe punt by the Clemson defense. Don't want to give up any trick play here.
Their special teams are the best in the country. South Carolina's Ty Kroger, their punter, has thrown 3 passes this year. He bombs a punt. Antonio Williams back inside the 10 to field it, hoping for some blocks. And he will run out of bounds. And there's a very late flag thrown. Ball spotted at the 13, but there is a penalty. The referee is Matt Leffler, leading a Southeastern Conference crew in this non-conference game, the traditional season finale, the regular season, for these two schools, separated by about 2.5 hours.
That was a great punt and excellent coverage. I talked to Pete Lembo on the field before the game. He was very concerned about their 2 return guys, Antonio Williams on punt and Will Shipley on kickoffs.
Personal foul, blindside block on the return team. It's penalty, it's half the distance, first down.
I think it was Miles Murphy who actually, first of all, he avoided a block. Number 98, nope, there it is. I was wrong. It was Tyler Davis, number 13, who got called for the blindside block. Murphy did a nice job avoiding an illegal block, and Tyler Davis got called for that. You know, when you're that big and powerful, you don't have to hit a guy very hard to knock him on the ground, but that's a safety rule penalty.
59-yard punt, and then the penalty brings the ball back to the 6 for DJ Uiagalelei, just across the 6-yard line. He takes off running. That was a big part of their attack last week against Miami, when he carried a career-high 17 times for a career-high 89 yards in their win against the Hurricanes. 2 weeks ago against Louisville, he carried 15 times.
I think at this point in the season, when everything's on the line, you will run your quarterback more, and DJ has responded.
Carey was for 18. Now Will Shipley, their leading rusher, needs 40 today to reach 1,000 for the season. Tackled by Tonka Hemingway. Uiagalelei from Southern California threw for 227. Big and strong, and about 30 pounds lighter than last year, 235. As you saw in those highlights, an elusive runner for a big man. His pass off the hands of their leading receiver, Antonio Williams, the 18-year-old freshman, with Marcellus Dial in coverage.
One of the reasons that quarterback run was effective the first play is because this South Carolina defense is going to play a lot of man coverage. There was motion by a receiver, and Cam Smith went in motion. Take a look at Clayton White, the defensive coordinator. He is going to sell out to stop this Clemson run on early downs and force the game into DJ's hands.
Shipley, the running back. Uiagalelei, the quick throw, and almost intercepted. It hit the defender, Darius Rush, right in his hands. The 5th-year senior who has never won against the Clemson Tigers.
It's a quick throw. It's out of the hands quickly, but South Carolina read it beautifully. I mean, Darius Rush used to be a wide receiver. You think he'd make that catch?
That's why he's a defensive back.
Yep, maybe it was a good switch, but he was in perfect position. But they still get the punt early.
Aiden Swanson, the punter. No breeze at all at the start of this game. Not a good kick. Big advantage for South Carolina today in punting. They're 8th in the country in net punting. Clemson's 107th. We've already seen that, with each team having punted once. Dabo Swinney fired up and ready to go in a very important game for both teams. The view from the AT&T 5G Skycam. Glorious late November day here, 64 degrees. Earlier in the week, the forecast was for a rainy day here in the upstate. Second possession for South Carolina. And Marshawn Lloyd on the field. And running back on the right hip and now to the left of Spencer Rattler. Quick throw, intercepted. Jeremiah Trotter heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson. Second interception of the year for Trotter. Part of an outstanding linebacker group for Clemson. He returned it 35 yards for the score. Their first non-offensive touchdown of the season, and now B.T. Potter to add the extra point. It's 7-0 Tigers.
I think Clemson fooled Spencer Rattler. Here's Trotter. When they put the back in motion, the defense moves, and I think Spencer thought Trotter would go in man coverage, but he didn't. He hung right in the throwing lane and picked off the throw. Typically, you think that linebacker's going to go with the back. He didn't go all the way with the back. He read the eyes of the quarterback, stepped right in front of the intended receiver, Nate Atkins, and turned it into a touchdown. Beautiful play, instinctive play by Jeremiah Trotter, who has really played well over the last 3 or 4 ball games.
As has the defense. He's the son of Jeremiah Trotter Sr., all-pro in the NFL with Philadelphia, among others.
Spencer Rattler threw 7 interceptions in his first 6 games, only 1 in the last 5, but that one was a costly one.
Well, Wes Goodwin said, rattle Rattler. That was the focus this week. They confused him, and the defense has a score. Xavier Legette brings the kickoff back, just shy of the 25. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Good afternoon, Sean. Time now for our Mayhem Moment, brought to you by Allstate. And Dan, 36.5-point underdogs. Georgia Tech going for it on 4th and 9.
4th and 9, but you get man coverage, and they pick the number 2 receiver who gets the nickel back on him.
And then number 17 going in, Pumachan.
Yeah, outside. Georgia lost contain.
First time Georgia's given up a touchdown in the first quarter, Sean. Back to you.
Well, Georgia Tech off a win last week at North Carolina. There's Marshawn Lloyd, who missed each of the last 3 games, Molly.
Well, Shane Beamer said he knew Wednesday that Lloyd would be able to contribute significantly in this game. They're hoping for 25 to 30 plays out of him today, but he said you'll use him as much as they need to, and will call a good amount of plays from early to get him into a rhythm. And Beamer said Lloyd's physicality sets the tone for their entire offense, both running and in pass protection, and they need that physicality against this front 7.
He's been out with a deep thigh bruise. They'll also get Christian Beal-Smith back today. He's missed a lot of the year, including the last 2 games with foot and ankle problems. After the loss, Rattler's in trouble, and he just throws it away. Barrett was the blitzing linebacker. Dabo Swinney said we're going to make Spencer Rattler uncomfortable. He clearly is uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, and it's just a 5-man protection, and Clemson brought more guys than could be picked up. They tried to get everybody out on the pass route. It was immediate pressure, and Rattler did the right thing, getting rid of the football. But another 3rd down and long play against this Clemson defense.
A.J. Henry brought the pressure, playing in his final home game. These Clemson players, nobody on this Clemson team has ever lost a game at home. They haven't lost here since 2016 when Pitt beat them on a last-second field goal. Good pocket this time. Rattler.
Wow.
And it got there in time. It looked like it might be picked off, but it was caught by Josh Vann for a 1st down out at the 46.
If there's ever any question about the arm talent of Spencer Rattler, this is a rope. It is almost intercepted, but he threw that from the right hash to the deep left sideline on a frozen rope. A beautiful throw for a 3rd down and 10 conversion.
Just before R.J. Mickens arrived for the Clemson defense.
1st down play action deep shot is what they did last week a lot.
Up the middle, nothing doing again for Lloyd. Redshirt sophomore from Wilmington, Delaware.
One of the things they did exceptionally well against Tennessee was on early downs. They did some max protection with multiple tight ends or keep the back in and take some shots downfield, and they hit them for big plays. And that was also helpful in avoiding 3rd down and long yardage situations.
Rattler trying to set up a screen, well defended. Threw it at the feet of Marshawn Lloyd. It was Peyton Page, who's a backup defensive lineman, providing some pressure. But it was remarkable what South Carolina did on offense last week. 63 points, the most ever allowed by Tennessee in an SEC game. The most ever by an unranked team versus a top 5 team in the AP poll era, and they had 35 1st downs, the school record.
And they had not had more than 17 in the previous 5 games. It was just off the charts offensive productivity a week ago.
In 3 of the previous 4 games, they didn't reach 300 yards of offense. Rattler fires, intended for Vann. He was well covered by Nate Wiggins, who has really come along as the season has progressed. Wes Goodwin said the biggest part of the improvement of the defense, the development of the secondary, you can see the confidence building.
Well, we were at the game in Wake Forest, and that secondary got torched. They struggled, and Nate Wiggins, more than anybody, struggled in that game. But they have matured. They've gotten healthy. They got Sheridan Jones back, and now they're a much better complement to that front 7.
Kroger on the punt again. And another beautiful punt, high, and a fair catch made by Williams at the 10. Time for today's hardest working player. It's brought to you by Duluth Trading Company, and it's Will Shipley.
Well, Will Shipley is the heart and soul of this Clemson offense, and maybe the team. One of the big leaders on the team, only a sophomore. He will run over you, around you, through you. He's not an overly big guy, but he runs with great pad level and power, and he's always moving forward. I mean, his running style and his work ethic, I think, is what inspires the rest of his team as a leader.
Only player in the country who has at least 950 rushing yards, 150 receiving yards, and 200 kickoff return yards. 739 last year as a true freshman, injury-limited season. And as we said, started the day needing 40 for 1,000 this year. It'd be the 23rd time that a Clemson rusher has reached 1,000. He has a big gainer there out across the 20-yard line to the 25, a gain of 15.
Because DJ has run so much recently, you have to respect the inside quarterback run. That little fake kind of sucked in the defense, and Shipley has the speed to get the ball to the perimeter. At 128 yards against South Carolina last year in the game in Columbia.
30-0 Clemson. Way to Uiagalelei. Never saw the pressure from behind. Zach Pickens, the senior from right down the street in Anderson, South Carolina, about a 20-minute drive away from Clemson.
Well, there's a new left guard in there. That's Mitchell Mays, and that's who got beat on the pressure. It was quick pressure, but it was also excellent coverage downfield by Darius Rush. They tried to go for a deep pass to Bo Collins, who they just got back.
Mays in for Marcus Tate, who was the starting left guard, injured a knee early last week against Miami. They have confidence in Mays. He started earlier in the year at right guard when Walter Parks was out. Here's Shipley, the right. Run down from behind by Sherrod Green, a sixth-year senior. Still looking for his first win against Clemson.
Take a look now. Again, man coverage. Darius Rush is a long, athletic corner. He's in perfect position on Bo Collins. They tried to fake the screen and go deep. That forced DJ to hold the ball a little bit long, and the result was a sack.
8.5 to go, opening quarter. 7-0 Clemson on a 35-yard interception return by Jeremiah Trotter.
Right now, Clemson or South Carolina showing zero coverage. Look at the middle of the field. Not a single safety anywhere. It's man. It's inviting DJ to throw the football.
They back out of it a little bit. He fires, caught, first down. Joseph Ngata with Darius Rush in coverage.
Nice job by Ngata using his big frame. 6'3", 215 pounds. He's not going to run by you, but he did a good job of shielding the defender with his body and making the catch on the sideline.
Shipley and Phil Maffa now, the running backs, behind Uiagalelei. And it's Maffa to the 40, a gain of 4. We talked number 2 running back a lot of the year without Kobe Pace, who returned last week after missing 5 games, the high ankle sprain.
Now, Maffa's a really good downhill runner, physical, and to have both of those guys fresh in a fourth quarter is part of why this team has won all the games that they've won.
Shipley. He may go. Stumbled for a moment. It slowed him down, and they catch him inside the 15-yard line. Darius Rush ran him down, and Uiagalelei after the long fake, a nice block.
Well, Uiagalelei, but watch Parks, the right guard, Walker Parks, got the key block. DJ in there leading as well. And Shipley shows the speed when he gets through the inside. Nice little look with both backs in the backfield. Created some confusion for the South Carolina defense.
So that gets him over 1,000 yards for the season. 23rd time in Clemson history somebody's rushed for 1,000. 47-yard play, 4 rushes, 76 yards for Shipley. Antonio Williams inside the 10. Pulled down by Brad Johnson, another 6th-year senior at linebacker.
DJ Uiagalelei doing a little bit of everything. Lead block, they pulled the guard, Walker Parks. He got the first block. And then DJ's block is what sprung Shipley for the long gain. This is where DJ likes to run also.
And right on cue. Weaving inside the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson.
Well, they're going to pull the guard, Walker Parks, and he's actually going to miss the block. So there's a man there, but DJ, as big as he is, he has the ability to make people miss. He doesn't look nifty, but he is very quick in his movement and making people miss. He made 2 or 3 defenders miss on that run for the touchdown.
3 straight games with a rushing touchdown for Uiagalelei. First time he's done that in his career. 9-yard score, the extra point good by B.T. Potter. He did it all on that drive.
Absolutely. A little lead block action. Hit the pass on 3rd down. And then he calls his own number for the touchdown and a 14-0 lead for the Tigers.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats. And in part by Target. Score low prices and great deals only at Target.
Last win in this rivalry for South Carolina on November 30th, 2013. They forced 6 turnovers that day. Their 5th straight win. All of them under Steve Spurrier. B.T. Potter kicks off. And Xavier Legette's going to try it. They're 4th in the country in kickoff returns. But well covered there by Clemson. Sherrod Koval made the tackle. Coming up tonight, 7:30 here on ABC. Number 15, Notre Dame, the only team to defeat Clemson this year, against number 6, USC. Trojans right in the thick of the college football playoff picture. Notre Dame 8-1 since an 0-2 start. USC on its way to the Pac-12 title game, but thinking about more, Caleb Williams, perhaps the leader in the Heisman Trophy race.
Incredible job by Lincoln Riley. Not only did he turn the roster over, but he got them all to buy into one theme and right where they want to be.
Swing pass to Jaheim Bell. Chopped down by Andrew Makuba. Bell was their leading running back the last 3 games without Marshawn Lloyd and Christian Beal-Smith, usually a tight end.
Very versatile guy. They can throw it to him, hand it to him. One of the things that Marcus Satterfield told us is, you know, by playing him at running back, we could guarantee more touches for him by just handing it to him, because they want him to touch the football at least 12 to 15 times a game.
They take the flip to Jalen Brooks. They fire downfield, and what a catch by Josh Vann.
Well, great catch. Vann down at the end of the play, but also tremendous protection. They faked the reverse. Nice job by Spencer Rattler hiding the football, but the protection was there for a long time. You see that coming across the field here. There's the fake. Look at the protection. Here comes Vann all the way across the field. And Rattler hits him for the completion.
To the 45-yard line, a 34-yard play. A moment ago, Josh Vann walking off with assistance. We're not going to show you the replay. It was a very gruesome looking injury to his left leg. He made the catch and then landed awkwardly. But the play has them at the Clemson 46. The pass batted down by Trotter, who already has an interception return for a touchdown.
Similar situation. Trotter just in the middle of the field with eyes on the quarterback. And he's reading Spencer Rattler. They're going play action, trying to get a quick throw over the middle. And Trotter right in the throwing lane again. It's a really important drive for South Carolina. They can't fall too much further behind. A week ago, they were on point. The week before that, they were 21-0 down in Gainesville. Lost 38-6.
Rattler escaped from Sheridan Jones, a blitzing corner, and still forced to throw it away. More pressure from this outstanding Clemson defense, populated by linemen, all of whom will be drafted in the NFL.
Yeah, the problem for South Carolina, both the tight end and the back are going to block this way, and the pressure came from there. There was nobody to pick him up. And Rattler somehow avoided the direct hit and got rid of the football, but another 3rd down and long situation. 1 for 3. And most of the reason for that is almost every 3rd down has been 8 or more.
Play clock running out. They just do get it off. Rattler steps into the throw, going deep into double coverage, and it's almost intercepted. Off the hands of Jalen Phillips. It was intended for their leading receiver by far, Antoine Juice Wells, was 54 catches coming in. That's more than the next 2 Gamecocks combined.
Well, Sheridan Jones is in great position as the corner, and the safety, Jalen Phillips, is the guy coming over to the other side and helps his corner, but Sheridan Jones was in perfect position on his own.
Apparently the camera guy in the progressive pylon camera likes to draw as well.
What happened there?
Talented artist. And here's Kai Kroger's had an excellent first quarter, punting for the 3rd time. And boy, they are so good on special teams. This one will be downed at the 1-yard line. Darius Rush got there to keep it out of the end zone.
Take a look at the end of this from the progressive pylon cam. Man, that is it's an athletic move. This one is the view from the progressive pylon cam. So they got 2 for the price of 1.
They're 8th in the country in net punting. That's a 44-yarder downed at the 1. There's Pete Lembo, who's one of the 15 semifinalists for the Broyles Award as the top assistant coach in the country. We'll go back to some of those marks. Flag down behind the play as Maffa runs out of bounds at the 14. There is a penalty thrown behind the line of scrimmage for a hold.
Offense, number 84, half the distance.
On the
play, first down.
Tight end, Davis Allen.
Now, we talked to Brandon Streeter every time this year that he just raves about Davis Allen. He's become a very dependable receiver, but he says the best blocking tight end they've ever had here at Clemson in his time. He was the one who got called for the hold there. There's Brandon Streeter, former quarterback. Said he's 12-1 in his career against South Carolina as a player and a coach.
Maffa across the 6. Special teams helping South Carolina. Otherwise dismal first quarter. Only Notre Dame has blocked more than their 6 kicks. 5 of those are punts. They're 4th in the country in kickoff return yardage, 2nd in punt return behind Duke. Stanford is the only other team in the country that hasn't missed at least 1 field goal. Pete Lembo has done a phenomenal job. Former head coach at Lehigh, Elon, and Ball State. And it's Maffa again. I like what Shane Beamer said. He makes it fun. He has a theme every week. Earlier in the year, they had the royal family. Some of their play calling for special teams was William or Kate. Right. This week, it's 70s rock music. We said to Shane, your players don't know anything about rock music from the 70s, but they have one of their calls this week will be ABBA. I know one of your favorites.
Yeah, big ABBA guy.
3rd down and 4. Oyunglele broke some tackles but didn't make it to the first down marker.
That's a big
TJ Sanders tripped him up.
Big stop right there, because if they convert the first down, new set of downs, little breathing room. Now they've got a punt from being backed up. And we already showed you 5 block kicks, so you know that's in the mind of this punt protection team of Clemson. Interestingly enough, you said Notre Dame has more block punts. The first score of the game in South Bend was a block punt return for a touchdown.
By Notre Dame against Clemson. It was an ugly performance by Clemson. It really seems to have hurt them with the College Football Playoff Committee. Their only loss of the year. Aiden Swanson, better effort this time. Nose up wobbler. And again, South Carolina picking up yardage in the punt game. That's 42 off the foot of Swanson. Here's Molly.
Well, South Carolina wide receiver Josh Vann had to be helped off the field. You saw he couldn't put any weight on his left leg. They brought ice into the medical tent, and I'm told that he's undergoing further evaluation for a left knee sprain. He's questionable to return. Also, tight end Jaheim Bell dealing with some pain and with a left wrist injury as well.
Vann returns after the injury that we saw. That would be a big surprise, but it's good to see him walking around. That's even a big surprise. Of course, that's not the same number 6. That's Zach Pickens. You have to love the double numbers in college football. When we become commissioners, co-commissioners of college football, we're getting rid of double numbers.
Will we institute triple-digit numbers if we need it, or just no repeat numbers?
99 players should be enough. Give them all their own number. Jaheim Bell for very little. Barrett Carter made the tackle. He's a very active first quarter.
Well, again, I don't think that they have been as aggressive early downs. As you take a look last week, Spencer Rattler was virtually unstoppable, but a lot of it was early down, max protection, play action passing. They haven't really tried that yet so far.
Here comes a blitz. Rattler stepped up, fires down the field, and a catch. Nate Atkins, the tight end, known more for his blocking, makes a tremendous catch at the 19-yard line.
This is a guy who, coming out of high school, barely had an FCS scholarship offer. He transferred over here. His dad's the offensive line coach. His role has expanded each week. What a catch.
32-yard gain. Back to the run with Christian Beal-Smith, the transfer from Wake Forest. Atkins transferred, and he's injured on the last play, from East Tennessee.
Yep.
He was a pass catcher there, had 73 catches, 33 last season, but has been much more of a blocker. Matter of fact, that's just his 5th catch of the season for South Carolina.
He does a little bit of everything, and his role has gotten bigger and bigger each week with some of the other injuries they've had at different positions.
Important drive for Carolina, trying to get back in the game. They run a reverse. Jalen Brooks has a blocker out in front, and he gets tripped up inside the 5. R.J. Mickens saved the touchdown.
Really nice job by Austin Stogner. He was the lead blocker. Normally you bring this guy over, blocks the edge of the line, they send him out. He gets the nice block on Makuba. And a nice cut inside that block by Jalen Brooks. Critical drive right here for South Carolina. And make it a one-score game.
Be the last play of the first quarter. 15-yard gain. The creativity on offense continues on the South Carolina side. But it's Clemson and Dabo Swinney leading 14-0. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Been a long time since South Carolina scored a touchdown against Clemson. Fourth quarter of the 2018 game here, a 56-35 Clemson win. The last 2 meetings won by Clemson 68-3. They didn't play in 2020 because of COVID. Time for their first score of the game, 1st and goal. And the pass incomplete. Thrown in the direction of Austin Stogner, who played a big part in convincing Spencer Rattler to come along from Norman, Oklahoma to Columbia, South Carolina.
He's 6'5". They tried to get him singled up on Nate Wiggins, but Wiggins did a nice job holding his own out there in coverage. More to go.
Rattler's on the sideline.
Kerryon Joyner, the quarterback. More than a Wildcat. He can throw, but he's a dangerous runner.
Handed it off to Christian Beal-Smith. Across the line, but not by much. Jeremiah Trotter, who has scored a touchdown, the first of the game on an interception return on the stop. Here's 3rd down and goal. Wouldn't surprise you if this is 4-down territory. Shane Beamer hopes it doesn't get to that. Nate Atkins, who was injured on that long pass play, has returned to the game. An important blocking tight end. Marshawn Lloyd, the running back, bounces outside. He's in trouble and knocked out of bounds for a loss. R.J. Mickens forced him wide. Trotter in on the play, and Nate Wiggins at the end of it.
Yeah, that was really good defense, just stringing it out.
They are going to go for it, even though they lost yardage back to the 4.
Now this place will erupt if Clemson gets a goal line stand here. They've had 4 cracks at it, and they've gone backwards. This has to be a throw by Spencer Rattler.
Christian Beal-Smith, the running back. Rattler faked it to him, has time, back of the end zone, touchdown, Juice Wells.
Boy, what a cool and calm job. And we were talking in the break. This offensive line has done a pretty good job holding their own against this Clemson front. Watch the protection. It's only 5 guys blocking. Rattler has time to allow Wells to get to the back of the end zone and then delivers a perfect touch pass to his favorite target. But credit this South Carolina offensive line for protecting their quarterback and giving him a chance.
5th receiving touchdown of the year for Wells. Transfer from James Madison. The extra point good by Mitch Jeter. And the Gamecocks right back into the game after an 8-play, 51-yard drive.
Well, we talked about Spencer Rattler and what he's done. Watch him step up in the pocket here inside the block of Javon Gwynn. Perfect touch pass to Atkins. And then the creative play calling that Marcus Satterfield was showing last week with the reverse to Jalen Brooks. And then on 4th down, just again, clean pocket and a beautiful throw by Spencer Rattler. And South Carolina right back in this football game. And their defense has played well. Their defense has only given up 1 touchdown to Clemson. So their defense has their feet in the ground, feels pretty good about themselves. And right now the offense is responding.
So finally a touchdown against Clemson. It came on 4th down. That 30-0 game last year in Columbia, so ugly, Shane Beamer apologized to the Gamecock fans after the game. He doesn't have much to apologize for. They're going to a bowl game for the 2nd straight year. I think most people around college football believe this is a Gamecock program on the rise.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the thing about last year was it was a beatdown. They got outrushed 265-43 in the game, and they just had no answers for the Clemson running game. So far in this one, a much better job.
Mitch Jeter's kickoff, a touchback. Here's Kevin.
Let's go to the shoe. Ohio State striking first here, Boog. C.J. Stroud in the air.
Michigan playing man coverage. Really good job by Booker getting inside, stacking the cornerback.
Right now, it's the Buckeyes up 10-3 over number 3, Michigan. Back to you, Sean.
Winner of that, well, certainly going to be in the college football playoff. They'll still have to play the Big Ten title game, but the winner will be a huge favorite over the champion of the Big Ten West, in a division nobody wants to win. Will Shipley fighting across the 30. All Iowa had to do yesterday was win at home against Nebraska to win the Big Ten West. They could not, so it's Purdue and Illinois now playing today to determine that. The All-State playoff predictor, Georgia's a lock. Ohio State given a 96% chance entering today. And Clemson at 31%. But there are several paths for them. Uyunglele could not get away. Swung down by Gilbert Edmond, the defensive end, redshirt sophomore from Fort Pierce, Florida.
Yeah, Edmond has really had to step up into the role as a starting edge player. We'll take a look at him. He's right here. When they lost Jordan Strawn, one of their best players, Edmond had to really step up. Has gotten better and better each week. Stayed at home very nicely on this play and wrapped up DJ.
They've had several key injuries on defense. Mohamed Kaba was a starting linebacker. He went down early in the year at Arkansas with an ACL tear. Here's 3rd down and 6. And the catch made, and it looks to be enough for the 1st down for Bo Collins. Back in action after missing the last 2 with a shoulder injury.
He was working on Cam Smith, and a little more cushion than I expected to see. Cam Smith did a great job last week following Jalen Wyatt all over the field for Tennessee. He was on coverage on that play.
Tom McShay has Smith, the projected 1st-round pick. Maffa, as usual, a tough run. 6'1", 230-pounder out of Loganville, Georgia. He got 7. Zach Pickens and Jordan Birch made the stop.
Again, when you have difficulty stopping the run, it is the most demoralizing thing that can happen to your defense. And last year, 265 yards on 43 carries in that 30-0 win.
Swing pass through the hands of Maffa is a live ball. No, it's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, if you're the defense, you go ahead and recover it automatically anyway. It did look like it was a clean forward pass to me from a live view. Whoa. We'll take a look where the ball ends up. Boy. And one thing I learned from listening to Matt Austin over the weekend is if the ball is even or behind, it's a backward pass. It has to be clearly forward to be a forward pass.
Incomplete forward pass. The previous play is under further review.
Well, while they look at it, Daniel Boldrick, the replay official, will give Matt Austin time to ponder this as well. Well, the play is standing as called incomplete pass. What do you think, Matt Austin?
Well, I think this play would have stood no matter which way they called it. It is so close. He lets go of the ball at the 36.5. It's touched right at the same point. I think actually it's backwards, but I don't think they can do anything with it, so I like the call.
Well, not conclusive, so they left it. Big break for Clemson. Uyunglele stopped right by the 45-yard line, which was the line to gain for the first down. This is going to be close. He got driven back by Jordan Birch, junior from Columbia. It is just enough for the first down. He was heavily recruited by Clemson, highest-ranked recruit other than Jadeveon Clowney in South Carolina history. Number 4 high school prospect at any position in the country, the class of 2020. Antonio Williams went in motion. Play action pass. Uyunglele, the wheel route, and it is just too far in front of the outstanding freshman, Williams.
He had a couple guys running with a little bit of space that time. Just an overthrow by DJ. Well-conceived play. And Antonio Williams has been outstanding as a freshman. I mean, just mature beyond his years. He's the leading receiver. He's just done everything and has really been outstanding.
In-state player playing in this Palmetto Bowl. One of 53 Clemson players who hail from South Carolina. Uyunglele faked the handoff, and he could not get away. Boy, there have been a couple of big tackles. That one by Alex Huntley. Because a couple of times on this possession, if Edmond and now Huntley didn't make tackles, DJ had a long way to go.
Well, and as we've mentioned, I mean, he is very elusive. I mean, he doesn't look nifty or nimble, but he does have the ability to make people miss. He does it every time he runs it. And you're right, a couple sure tackles limit the game on the big quarterback.
Clearly trying to establish the run game. They've run 24 plays, 18 of them runs. They've passed for only 13 yards. DJ 2 out of 6. On 3rd down and 9, he got hit as he threw, and it wobbled over the head of Bo Collins. Jordan Birch and Brad Johnson involved in that play.
Jordan Birch did a nice job beating the freshman right tackle, Blake Miller. Just a good speed and power rush, and he gets around him. Watch the top of your screen, gets around the freshman tackle. He's there, and also Brad Johnson there from the inside. I think Birch got the arm, and Brad Johnson was right in the face of the quarterback as well. So good pressure on 3rd down.
So here's Swanson. Brought pressure. Line drive kick. And that goes out of bounds.
Beautiful one.
At the 2-yard line. Wayne Swanson says South Carolina isn't the only good punting team in this game. 52 yards and perfectly placed. The Progressive Pylon Cam. It's 14-7 Tigers. We hope you're having a great Thanksgiving weekend. We are so thankful for the opportunity to work with all these wonderful people you're seeing on your picture. Our crew, their families, enjoying Thanksgiving. Our producer Josh Hoffman, our director Scott Johnson. And just an amazing group of really nice and really talented people. Here's pressure. Rattler somehow got away, then got the throw off. The question was he down on a knee? The other question is it going to be grounding? Ruka collared him. Rattler spun away, but then as he was going down, went down on a knee to throw it.
It was immediate inside pressure, a bust up front. And Rattler, does his knee go down before the ball goes out? Now, there is a receiver in the area in Bell.
Intentional grounding on the offense, number 7. The result is a safety.
I thought Jaheim Bell was actually a receiver somewhere in the area on that left sideline. But the pressure and a bust, and this offensive line has done a great job, but Arroyo just comes right through the inside. Nothing Rattler can do, but see, there's a receiver down here in this area by where the ball was thrown. I don't know why that's intentional grounding, other than he was definitely trying to unload it, for sure.
Well, let's bring in Matt Austin as the Clemson defense celebrates a safety for the second week in a row. They had one against Miami last week. Matt, what'd you think?
Well, Todd, what you said there at the end is exactly right. Once you've been hit and you're under that much pressure and you're going down, you've got to get it a lot closer to a receiver. If you throw it when you haven't been molested yet, you're fine. Yeah. But if you're on your way to the ground and you dump it, you got to get it really close. So this is a good call.
He was definitely on his way to the ground. I mean, it's amazing that he was able to stand up as long as he did. And again, we talked about this offensive line had been doing a great job against this outstanding Clemson defensive front up until that point. A mix-up up front. And Clemson's defense records 2 more points. That's 9 points now in the ball game. Credit to the Clemson defense.
There's Wes Goodwin. Said their performance last week against Miami by far their best of the season. They held Miami to 98 total yards of offense last week. That's the 3rd fewest in the history of the Hurricane program and the fewest since 1965.
And it was only 8 yards in the first half. I mean, it was a total domination from start to finish.
Miami had only 6 first downs in that game. They are going to go to a little trickery of their own. Shipley handed it off.
Oh,
now the ball comes out. And the ball is recovered by South Carolina. Maffa took the handoff, and then it came flying out of his hands. And the Gamecocks have it. It's Trayvon Kenyon.
Dabo went with a little trick play on the kick return. I mean, this is set up. Hands it to Maffa in a little scrum huddle. And then Maffa just loose with the football. You can see he's very loose with it, never gets it tucked away. And an unfortunate mistake by the Clemson special teams. My goodness.
Mitch Jeter, the kicker, had him around the legs. So trying to beat the Gamecocks at their own game on special teams. It was actually an effective play until the fumble by Maffa. Antoine Wells on first down. Let's go back and look at the fumble.
I don't know if anybody punched it out. I think he just lost it.
To the point where it almost looked like he was trying to lateral it to somebody else.
That's exactly what it looked like.
Rattler throwing down the sideline, back shoulder for Brooks. Jalen Brooks gives South Carolina 1st and goal at the 8-yard line with Sheridan Jones in coverage.
When it comes to just throwing the football, Spencer Rattler's pretty. I mean, he throws it like an NFL quarterback. When he has time and a clean pocket, he throws it as well as anybody. Beautiful back shoulder accuracy that time to Brooks.
Quick throw. Wells again. With Brooks trying to block for him on the perimeter. Wells made it inside the 5. Jalen Phillips stopped him. They spotted at the 4-yard line. 2nd and goal. Clemson leading 16-7. They've scored 9 points on defense. An interception return for a touchdown and a safety. Five receivers spread the formation now. Rattler danced away from Trotter. Spencer Rattler into the end zone for a touchdown.
What an effort. What a great effort by Spencer Rattler. Again, there was quick pressure inside. He was able to elude the immediate pressure. Watch him step up, get away from the immediate pressure. That was Trotter coming on the blitz, and then got it into the end zone. Outstanding individual effort.
When we talked to Rattler, Maffa's fumble set it up. They go 37 yards in 4 plays. He said he wants to run the ball more.
Well, he knows, I mean, he's a pass-first guy, but he also knows he has the ability to make plays with his legs.
Third rushing touchdown of the season. Jeter the extra point. Entertaining Palmetto Bowl. Maffa's fumble on the kickoff return with the kicker Jeter wrapped around his legs. And then Rattler makes it a 2-point game. Back at Death Valley, time of the Aflac trivia question. Clemson's won 40 straight home games. That is the all-time ACC record. We want to know how many teams have had longer home winning streaks in the history of FBS college football. Mitch Jeter to kick off. And it's a touchback. The answer to that question is 7. Do you know who had the longest?
No.
Miami. 58. Apparently they changed the question from when they typed it onto the card that I read. I'd be a lousy game show host. We'd have to edit that out in post-production. Miami 58, 1985 through 94. Clemson tied with Notre Dame from a long time ago. The 8th longest in college football history. They're in a tight one in this home game. Will Shipley the ball carrier. And Todd, you think about it. Pitt, the last team to win here, visiting team back in 2016.
Right.
That is their only loss in their last 60 home games. They are 59-1 here. And not for a 48-yard field goal with 6 seconds to go. We could be talking about a 60-game home winning streak.
It's amazing. You have senior classes come and go here that never lost a game at home. I mean, that's just amazing.
Flag thrown by the back judge.
The play clock ran out or not.
That is one of the many responsibilities for the back judge.
There was an error with the play clock. There is no delay game. Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds.
Yeah, I saw the clock down. So good catch there by the back judge. You know all about being a back judge, right?
Yeah, we in the spring game at Georgia a couple of years ago, you, Molly, and I were all officials on the field. A lot of tutoring from the real SEC officials. I was the back judge. I think it was very educational experience for all of us.
Grow to appreciate how hard the job is on the field in real time.
Uiagalelei has his man. Collins trying to go off to the races. Darius Rush manages to chase him out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 15.
Well, the first big chunk play. Beautiful route. Gets away at the line of scrimmage against South Carolina, trusting their corners on islands in man-to-man. And Bo Collins did a great job of creating separation off the ball on Darius Rush.
59-yard play, 40 after the catch. They had 13 yards passing for the game prior to that play. Will Shipley, the running back, he went out in motion. Design run for Uiagalelei again. And that long play, Todd, makes me think, you know, they're almost wide receiver U here now. They kind of go back and forth with Ohio State. Right. They've both had 11 receivers drafted in the last decade, most in college football. They don't have a single 100-yard receiving game this year at Clemson. They're one of only 6 teams in the country.
It's a little surprising, very surprising that stat is for real. Now, a lot of that is they've thrown to their tight ends a lot coming into the game. They've combined for 52 catches.
That was Brandon Streeter's explanation. Slant, incomplete. I would also say that this group doesn't have that dynamic, great receiver that Clemson teams of the past have had.
Yeah, and I mean, just the fact that their leading receiver is a true freshman, the guy who came in from high school a year ago, didn't even come in the spring, came in June, and so I think they've got some young guys that'll develop. But you're right, as a group, it's not as dynamic as we've seen.
Especially
in the past.
that 6'5" now. Bo Collins kind of looks like the T. Higgins and Justin Rosses and others of the past, and Antonio Williams looks like he's going to be a great player. Hard to tell what is going on with Bo Collins, who's grasping at his wrist. Now, bear in mind, he missed the last 2 at Notre Dame and against Louisville. Excuse me, against Louisville and Miami after an injury at Notre Dame to his shoulder. That 59-yard catch, the longest of his career for the sophomore from Los Angeles, high school teammate of Uiagalelei. But he's out. That's a big target down in the red zone. It's Will Shipley, the running back. 3rd down and 6 from the 11. Clemson leading by 2. Uiagalelei has a man wide open. Williams, the touchdown.
Cam Smith, number 9, he thinks he's going to get help. He's in coverage, and then he releases him, thinking there's somebody behind him, but there was no deep defender. And DJ Uiagalelei read the mistake by the South Carolina secondary and got the ball to the guy we were just talking about, the leading receiver, Antonio Williams.
49th catch of the year, leading the team, his 4th touchdown reception. The extra point good by B.T. Potter. And it's back to a 9-point lead for number 8 Clemson. 6:14 to go until halftime.
The AT&T countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship. Monday, January 9th on ESPN.
Here's today's Taco Bell Live Más student section. Big part of the home success of the Tigers. Student sections across the country competing to be the Live Más student section of the year all season long. Clemson with an enrollment of just more than 27,000 students. Beautiful campus here in the upstate of South Carolina. B.T. Potter, the touchback.
Well, I want to go back to the touchdown. You've got 3 defenders responsible for these 2, and you can see there's going to be communication problems. They're talking, who is the safety going to help, inside or outside? They're still talking before the ball is snapped. Obviously a mix-up, because as Williams goes outside, nobody goes with him, and DJ did a great job of finding the opening. It was a mistake, and DJ capitalized on the mistake.
Marshawn Lloyd back in action this week. Hasn't been able to find any running room yet. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, earlier in the game, wide receiver Juice Wells went up to Spencer Rattler, pointed to his head and said, "Stay out of your head. We got you." Now, after Rattler's touchdown run, he pointed to his head, gave a thumbs up to Wells, and said, "I'm back." So Clemson's Rattler mantra worked early, but he's getting his confidence back, Sean and Todd.
They've scored a couple of touchdowns here in the second quarter. Another nice catch by Nate Atkins. He's short of the first down by about 2 yards. Sheridan Jones nearby.
Again, Atkins, a little do-it-all tight end, can be the kind of the move tight end, the H-back, if you will. Plays on a lot of special teams, and again, his role has gotten bigger and bigger as this season has gone on.
Long yard to go for the first down, or short 2, and they get nothing. Jaheim Bell stuffed. Well, last week against Tennessee, Todd, the coaches told us they had a blanket mentality. And I don't mean blanket like something you put over. It began with an F. We can't use it on national TV. Well, we'll see if they have that same mentality here on 4th and 1. Their own end of the field. It appears they do, throwing caution to the wind.
Well, that inside run that wasn't very encouraging because they got 0 push on this Clemson defensive front and didn't gain an inch on 3rd and 1.
3 running backs behind Rattler. They go to play action pass. They have a man running wide open. What a play! Juju McDowell dragged down just shy of the goal line. They're going to spot him at the 1.
Great ball fake by Spencer Rattler. Here's McDowell. He's going to release. Watch the ball fake. He hides it. Clemson thinking run all the way. McDowell beats Makuba right away.
Good job by Makuba. They'll probably take a look at the end of the play.
The ruling on the field, the player was short of the goal line.
They're going to check to see if perhaps it was a touchdown. They were 2 for 2 on 4th down against Tennessee. They're 2 for 2 today. First look at the end of the play from the progressive pylon camera. I think they got it right. His knee was down outside the 1. And the ball had not reached the goal line. Well, but what a call. You know, Marcus Satterfield, the offense coordinator, had come under a lot of criticism from Gamecock fans prior to last week for, you know, the sluggish offense. But all of a sudden, the creativity abounds in that we're not going to worry about it mentality. I don't know how to characterize
the blanket.
that.
It's the blanket.
The blanket.
It's the blanket attitude.
Not the blanket. Blank it indeed. Going for it on 4th down and throwing a long pass.
Review. The ruling on the field is confirmed. He's short of the goal line. It's 1st down at that spot.
65-yard play, the longest completion of Rattler's career.
Well, it's a great call by Marcus Satterfield. And when we talked to Marcus Satterfield, he raved about how much he loves Spencer Rattler and how much faith and trust he has in his quarterback. And you make that call because you believe number 7 is going to make you look good. And he did.
He's gone to the sideline. They'll likely have the carry-on Joyner, as Todd mentioned earlier, has been a quarterback. As a matter of fact, he was the starting quarterback in their bowl win against North Carolina, the Duke's Mayo Bowl at the end of last year. He can throw it. He's not just a runner. He takes off running and did not get to the end zone. Stopped at the 1 by R.J. Mickens.
You know, you were talking about Marcus Satterfield and the criticism. Last year in a bowl team, he won games with 4 different starting quarterbacks. I mean, he had to find ways to be creative. He didn't have Spencer Rattler last year. He's only had him 1 year. And this is a team
Nolan, who was a graduate assistant coach. They activated Luke Doty, Jason Brown, to carry on Joyner. All started games at quarterback last year. Rattler started everyone this year. He's back in. He is throwing a terrible pass. Horrible decision and intercepted by R.J. Mickens. And how big was the play by Makuba to stop McDowell at the 1? There's some pushing and shoving now at the end of the play, and the officials are stepping in. They've been separated.
Well, there is Mickens, and he's reading the quarterback. He has no coverage responsibility, so he just drops underneath the throw. Spencer Rattler thought he had man coverage. His man had beaten the corner, Wiggins, but he did not account for Mickens, who was covering no one. And Mickens is the guy that got underneath the throw. That's 2 times now. Both interceptions in the ball game. The Clemson defense has fooled the eyes of Spencer Rattler.
One was returned for a touchdown by Trotter. This one takes a likely touchdown away from South Carolina. And that's really the inconsistency of Spencer Rattler that we've seen throughout his college career. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's a normal play, a little play action with tight ends crossing, receivers crossing in the end zone. He just didn't account for the underneath coverage and made a bad decision.
2 interceptions today. Getting a pep talk from the coaches. Marcus Satterfield raves about Rattler, not only as a quarterback, but as a person. Will Shipley ahead for very little. You know, and he came into college football with the reputation for being, I don't know, cocky's the right word.
Yeah.
Seems appropriate at South Carolina. He was on a reality show when he's 15 or 16 years old. And when we talked to him about it the other day, he said, yeah, I was on a reality show. Probably said and did a lot of things that a 15 or 16-year-old would do. But he is a very impressive young man. We met with him several times.
Well, and all you have to do is talk to coaches and teammates, and they all love him, you know, and want to play with him and for him.
People watching today watch that. That's not who he is. Here's Shipley, a couple of nifty moves. And he's out to the 33 with a first down. 2.5 minutes to go. All 3 timeouts for each side.
Well, again, South Carolina doing a pretty good job against the run, but Shipley, that ability to break tackles and run with power. 148 yards rushing in the first half for Clemson, but again, South Carolina is daring Clemson to throw. They're playing man coverage on the outside and loading the box to stop the run.
Play fake to Shipley. Dewey-Ungalale deep again for Williams, and he caught it. No, he didn't. The back judge comes running in, said he did not complete the catch. Would have been inside the 30-yard line. Cam Smith had the coverage.
Well, Cam Smith was beaten, but he was able to recover, and like good cornerbacks do, they get their hands in there and knock the ball out.
They never really got it all the way into his possession.
Nope.
Smith, the number 4 cornerback, according to Todd McShay, in the next draft, and Todd thinks he'll be a mid to late round, a first round pick. Dewey-Ungalale across the 40. He got 8.5. Gilbert Edmond, the stop. And they're not going to use a timeout here. The Clemson sideline just telling the offense to line up quickly.
Well, and Clemson prides themselves in how they play at the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half. Remember, they'll get the ball to start the third quarter because South Carolina won the toss and took the opening kickoff. Big opportunity for Clemson to take control of the game here.
Shipley got spun around, but still got the first down. The clock will stop for a moment to move the chains. With 1:26 to go, that interception in the end zone really feels like it has changed the complexion of this game.
Yeah, not only is it points taken away, but now Clemson with a chance before the half to really extend their lead.
Dewey-Ungalale into a crowd. Brenning still to catch the tight end, short gain, and Dabble Sweeney will use his first timeout. With 1:12 to go.
Timeout.
That was DQ Smith, a true freshman.
Timeout the half. 30 seconds.
Who started most of the year at safety alongside fellow true freshman Nick Eamon-Worry. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
This has been a wild one. And the back and forth emotional swings, of course, Spencer Rattler.
And the inconsistency of Spencer Rattler plays so well this week. All of a sudden, 2 interceptions this week. He's got to be better.
Yeah, you get the good and the bad. There's some spectacularly good, spectacularly bad plays. Clemson, though, has settled down, doing what DJ does well, let him run the ball some, and then play action pass down the field.
You know what's good right now? Michigan's passing attack. Cornelius Johnson, 2 big touchdowns. The Wolverines leading the Buckeyes. Highlights coming your way, Sean.
All right, Kevin, huge weekend of college football. Our broadcast brought to you by the great people at Arby's. 2nd and 7, Clemson. Quarterback draw. Oh, boy, he got chopped down in the open field by Debo Williams.
Well, that's the best way to go for DJ is for his legs, because he'll make you miss if you're focusing on his hips or his shoulders. Take those legs out, and down he goes.
3rd and 3. They're not quite in field goal range. Back shoulder throw up for grabs. Intended for Brandon Spector, and it was Marcellus Dial in coverage. Coach Beamer says the strength of the team is the cornerbacks.
This ball came out of his hand funny. It almost looked like it got deflected, but it didn't. It fluttered out of his hands, and Unusual. Not used to seeing DJ throw a pass like that.
The offense still on the field, Todd. 39 seconds to go in the half. 4th and 3. Would you go for it if you were Dabo?
No, I would not. I'd punt here. He might be, 4th and 3. If you get it offsides, you might be able to draw him off with a long count, switch your formations, put a guy in motion, hard count.
They do snap it. And it's a quick kick by Uyunglele. And he booted it a long way into the end zone. Well, a 48-yard punt.
When I was talking to Pete Lembo on the field before the game, he says, I wouldn't be surprised if Dabo's got a few special teams wrinkles just to kind of send a message to us. That's the second one we've seen. We saw the kickoff return that went awry and a quick kick that time by DJ Uyunglele.
I was at Syracuse working for the late, great college football Hall of Famer Dick McPherson. He loved the quick kick. Loved it. I don't think any coach ever used it more, and he used it very effectively. I believe Darrell Johnston was a great practitioner.
Really?
The running back position. So you would think Carolina would be careful. Do they have that blank it mentality going here with 33 seconds and all their timeouts? Rattler comes out firing into a crowd again and incomplete. It was intended for Jaheim Bell. KJ Henry put some pressure on. Sheridan Jones had the primary coverage. Shane Beamer just kind of threw up his hands to say, oh, that might be the last aggressive approach we take.
Yeah, I mean, because the pressure was there, and right now Clemson's not going to rush a lot of guys, but KJ Henry was able there and get a big hit on his quarterback.
Just on that gesture, they spread the field. Wouldn't be surprised for an inside handoff here. And it is Marshawn Lloyd. Now the question is, does Dabo Swinney use a timeout, try to force another punt? Doesn't appear that he will. Content with a 9-point lead and getting the ball first in the second half. They've won 68 in a row. Went ahead at the half. Matter of fact, their last loss when leading at the half was their last home loss to Pittsburgh in November the 12th of 2016. Shane Beamer's team down by 9. It could have been so much closer, Molly.
Coach, your quarterback Spencer Rattler with 2 crucial interceptions. What did you say to him walking off the field?
Just, if we're going to win this game, we're going to win this game because of him. He played his butt off last week, and he can again this week. 2 critical turnovers that just gifted him points, and can't do it. I mean, that first quarter was ugly, but we kept battling. We're in the game, and we're gonna win the game because of him in the second half.
Will you continue that attack mentality in the second half?
Yeah, we have to. I mean, I think their guys are having a hard time covering us a little bit, but we got to find a way to run the ball, and then we got 20 yards rushed, and it's hard. Tough sledding on these guys, but we're making it harder on ourselves right now.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Sean.
Well, good news for Shane. They threw for 207 with 2 critical interceptions. We'll send you to the studio for the Capital One halftime report after this message and a word from our ABC stations. This is the ACC on ESPN, and we welcome you back to college football on ABC, presented by Arby's. The Palmetto Bowl, battle for the state championship in South Carolina. Clemson trying to win it for the 8th straight meeting, leading South Carolina 23-14. Todd Blackledge, up and down first half to say the least for Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I mean, the good has been good, the bad has been really bad. This was the first touchdown that Clemson scored. Interception thrown right to Jeremiah Trotter. Then he came back, settled down, made a beautiful throw to the back of the end zone, kept it himself versus the pressure. Got in the end zone, and then when they had a chance to score again, deep in Clemson territory, a poor decision throwing into coverage. That was after the long gain on 4th down that was stopped on the 1, and South Carolina came away with no points in that possession. Really costly in that first half.
A huge development. It looked like it would be a 2-point game at the half. Instead, South Carolina still down by 9 and kicking off with Mitch Jeter about to kick it away to Will Shipley. with 99 rushing yards in the first half. Most by a Clemson player in a first half since Travis Etienne had 109 against Wake Forest in 2019. No chance for a return there for Shipley. A touchback for Jeter. Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge, delighted to have you with us. So even with those calamities in the first half for Spencer Rattler, they're still in the game, but a lot of work to do in the second half.
Yeah, a lot of work to do. And again, Clemson, as we said before the half, they have prided themselves on being really good right at the end of the first half and to start the third quarter. So a big possession for the South Carolina defense right here. Clemson ran the football for 164 yards in that first half. Did not throw it very often. Had one explosive play in the pass game. They'll have opportunities in the second half to throw the ball down the field if they want it.
Uiagalelei, 5 out of 13 passing for 86 yards. Hands it off to Shipley, who got driven back. A loss of a half-yard on the play. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, head coach Dabo Swinney was mostly disappointed at the half. He said, to win in this second half, we have to take care of the balls and take advantage of our scoring opportunities. He said we didn't do that in the first half. We're really fortunate for those 2 takeaways. Those are why we have that 9-point lead. And he told the team, settle in, do your job. The mistakes, most of all, have been really disappointing. So he was a little down on his team at the half, guys.
They've been virtually unbeatable when leading at the half. Uiagalelei throws it to an empty flat. Well, not only the 68 wins in a row when leading at the half, but 105 of the last 107 times they've led at the half, they've won.
They confused DJ on that play. When you talk about changing the picture on a quarterback, that's what South Carolina did that time. And DJ looked confused and not sure where to go with the football and just threw it away.
Clemson 5 out of 9 on third down. Some twisting up front for South Carolina. Long throw, incomplete. Single coverage for Marcellus Dial on E.J. Williams. And it'll be a 3-and-out for Clemson in just 49 seconds.
Clayton White told us about Marcellus Dial, said he's really a good cover guy. Where he's really wanted to improve is on the 50-50 balls, not just covering, but making plays. And that's what he did right here. He made a play on the football and forced the incompletion on 3rd and long. It's one thing to be in position. It's another thing to make a play on the football, and Dial did it there.
Aiden Swanson had a key play in the first half. His 44-yard punt that got down to the 2 led to a safety from the Clemson defense. Bad punt there, caught on the bounce and on the run. Marion Brown out of bounds. Another outstanding punt return for South Carolina.
Really good punt return and a great decision by Brown on the low punt. Catch it on the first bounce. Jalen Brooks almost got into a backwards block or a behind the back block. Avoided it. Brown gets it upfield in great field position. After the 3-and-out by the defense, South Carolina with the football in Clemson territory.
38-yard punt, but a 37-yard return. It's Beamer ball 2.0 in Columbia, where Shane's dad, the legendary Hall of Famer Frank Beamer, known for his special teams when he was at Virginia Tech. He's here in the crowd today. And the apple does not fall far from the tree. These special teams outstanding at South Carolina. They open with the Wildcat, and it's Jaheim Bell, the ball carrier. Now some woofing at the end of the play, but a quality gain on first down. Trenton Simpson involved with Bell at the end of the play.
Now, this is always a physical play. That's not really a stiff arm. That's more of a hit to the head by Jaheim Bell. Trying to assert their physicality here early.
Out wide, and the play dropped for a loss. Samarian Brown taken down by Wiggins back at the 20-yard line.
What a quick read by Wiggins. He's the guy, I think, of all the defensive backs. Wiggins is the guy who has reacted quicker. A poor effort on the block by Jalen Brooks, but it was a quick read by Wiggins that made the play. He surprised Brooks and made the play behind the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 4. South Carolina just 1 out of 6 after an 8 for 11 against Tennessee.
But this is good, manageable distance. Wouldn't be surprised if this is potentially 4-down territory.
Here's a blitz. And a wide open Atkins racing toward the pylon and lunging for it. And they're going to mark him out of bounds near the 2-yard line.
Mentioned that this guy can do a little bit of everything. He's the move tight end. This time he's in the backfield. They're going to fake it to him, and he's just going to slip out, and Clemson loses track of him. He slides out into the flat. There's nobody there to cover him. And a nice call by Marcus Satterfield on 3rd and 4 to get the ball to his tight end, Atkins.
Nice look. They got down to the 1 late in the half and turned it over. They're at the 2, 1st and goal. Jaheim Bell to the goal line. Touchdown.
You know what I like? They kept Rattler in. They didn't try to get tricky with the Wildcat quarterback. They went to a power run with Jaheim Bell, and they got the ball in the end zone. It's just inside zone. They got tight ends to the right, and they're just getting a good push this way. They give it to the big back. Marcus Satterfield said Jaheim Bell as a running back reminds him of a mid-'80s SEC running back. He's big, he's physical, he's downhill.
6'3", 232. Junior from Lake City, Florida.
What a way to come out of the locker room for South Carolina. They get a 3-and-out from their defense. They get a great play by their special teams on the punt return, and their offense runs the ball into the end zone on their first possession.
It was Jeter to make it a 2-point game again, and he does. The proud Papa enjoying the start to this half.
Well, the key play was 3rd down and 4. Atkins slipped out of the backfield. A nifty play call. Well executed. That set up the run by Jaheim Bell. And we've got a 2-point ball game here in Clemson.
This season, All-State is celebrating every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. Mitch Jeter to kick off. South Carolina trailed 14-0 after the first quarter. They've battled back within 2 again now. And that'll be another touchback.
Well, for Clemson, it's been their running attack. They wanted to run, and it's been mostly DJ Uiagalelei and Will Shipley. This was early in the game, their first possession, a nice quarterback run to start the game. And then DJ lead blocking for Shipley, who is 1 yard shy of another 100-yard game early here in the 3rd quarter. They've only had 1 big pass play, but the running game and a couple new wrinkles have been good. South Carolina, again, trying to sell out to stop the run and play coverage with their corners, but Clemson still having success.
3 and out on their first possession of this second half. It's been a stagnant offense for much of the day. Defense has scored a touchdown and had a safety. Last 6 Clemson possessions, 4 punts. They fumbled a kickoff return.
I really think Clemson and Brandon Streeter need to throw a little bit more on early downs, on first down. South Carolina expecting run on first down, doing a pretty good job on the early downs.
Uiagalelei banged down by the hard-hitting freshman Nick Eamon-Wari.
He took a shot on his hip on that play. Eamon-Wari is a physical safety at 6'4", 218 pounds. And he came right into the side of DJ. DJ didn't see him coming. He got a nice shot on him.
Eamon-Wari, 54 solo tackles coming into today, most in the SEC, most among FBS freshmen. Still huddling, and going to go quickly over the ball now with the play clock down to 6. 3rd down and 1. Uyunglele had to reach for the snap, still able to get it to Shipley. And he dragged a couple of tacklers out to the 44-yard line for a first down.
Great patience by Shipley. Watch him just kind of get low and stay right behind his pulling guard, Mitchell Mays, protecting the football. See that? Both arms on the football, knows he's got the first down. The heart and soul of this offense. He really is.
112 yards rushing down, just 12 carries. Fifth 100-yard rushing game of this season. A sophomore from Weddington, North Carolina, near Charlotte. Deep drop. Uyunglele into coverage and broken up by his receiver. It was Marcellus Dial who had the best chance for it. It was intended for the freshman Adam Randall.
Yeah, this is a poorly underthrown ball by DJ Uyunglele. I mean, it's well short. And if it wasn't for a great effort by Randall, that's an interception because Dial's in perfect position on the underthrown pass, and Randall's able to just get a hand in there and knock it away.
DJ off the hands of his receiver, Spector, and up in the air dangerously. Brandon Spector couldn't take it in, and that is 5 straight incomplete passes now for DJ Uyunglele, who was 5 for 17 for 86 yards and a touchdown.
And it appears that he's going to have to do the rest of the second half without Bo Collins, who did not come back out at halftime. Went out with a hand or arm injury, and never know.
Cade Klubnik is the backup. Dabo Swinney said yesterday, we're 10-1. DJ's played very well in 9 of the 11 games. He was awful against Syracuse, in the words of the coach, and bad against Notre Dame like the rest of the team. He's under duress and fires incomplete. Intended for Williams. It was Brad Johnson, the blitzing linebacker, who forced DJ to throw it on the move.
Yeah, this South Carolina team does not blitz very often, but you see they bring both inside linebackers. DJ almost gets a completion just trying to get rid of the football. But it was a good rush by Brad Johnson and a timely blitz call by Clayton White to get after the quarterback.
Here's Swanson. Hangs it high in the air, tumbling end over end kick. Marion Brown let it bounce. Josh Vann, usually their punt returner, but he left the game with a leg injury, is no longer in uniform. You can kick off your Week 12 NFL Sunday, 10 a.m. tomorrow with the Countdown crew on ESPN and the app. Early breaking stories, injury updates, previews of each game, and then Monday Night Football caps the NFL week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the Steelers and the Colts. Steelers are 18-3 on Monday Night Football under Mike Tomlin. Having a rough year. Well, here's South Carolina on offense after a 40-yard punt. Marshawn Lloyd still nothing doing for their leading rusher.
What a great play by Peyton Page, number 55. One of those reserve defensive linemen just got penetration and forced Lloyd to kind of dance behind the line of scrimmage. They just keep churning them out. I mean, NFL prospect after NFL prospect. Peyton Page, one of those youngsters waiting his turn.
Coordinated by Wes Goodwin. In his first year as a coordinator, as an off-the-field analyst for the last few years. Marshawn Lloyd, 6 carries for 0 yards now. Rattler takes the check down to Lloyd. Trying to find some open running room, and he can't. Dragged down by Wade Woodaz, backup linebacker, true freshman out of Jesuit in Tampa.
Well, once again, a 3rd and long for South Carolina. They're 2 of 7 on 3rd downs, and most of them have been 9-10 yards needed. They've been pretty good on 4th down, but not very good on 3rd down. 3rd and long, the quarterback normally has to hold the ball a little bit longer for routes to develop. And that invites this Clemson pass rush.
Wescu and brought pressure. Woodaz got there and had help as well. KJ Henry finished him off.
Because there was a bunch set that was close to the line of scrimmage, Woodaz is able to kind of hide right here. And he's in pressure. The back doesn't see him quick enough, is not able to get over there and help. And it's a timely blitz, this time by the Clemson defense. KJ
Their
Henry,
second sack. 34th of the year. They need 6 more to reach 40 for the 9th straight season. The only team that's reached 40 in each of the previous 8. Midway through the 3rd quarter, a 2-point lead for number 8, Clemson.
Back here at Clemson, where quarterback DJ Uiagalelei dealing with a lower body on the right side of his body injury. South Carolina defender Nicky Manwari tackled DJ, came down on his right hip. The entire time on the sideline, he was stretching, testing the mobility of his right leg, and grimacing in discomfort. He told athletic training staff, "I'm fine, but he's definitely dealing with some pain, guys."
He's been on that bike for a while, trying to get loose. Kai Kroger to punt out of his own end zone. 4th and 17 for South Carolina. Their own 10-yard line. Antonio Williams back deep, standing at his own 43. Looking into the sun. Another rocket by Kroger. Sent Williams all the way back to the 30. Antonio Williams dragged down as he crossed midfield. Javon Kenyon, another special teams tackle. 59-yard punt, 21-yard return.
Well, again, if DJ's feeling okay, I think Brandon Streeter in this possession, maybe even this play, needs to let him crank one down the field off of play action. Now, he doesn't have Bo Collins, but he does have Antonio Williams as a big play guy down the field. They've run the ball well, but they need some more chunk plays, and they're in great field position to try one right here.
All kinds of faking, and then a wobbler. Oh, if he was hit or if the ball was tipped, but he was under pressure from the blitzing linebacker Debo Williams.
Yeah, they had 2 receivers out here, but he didn't have time to set his feet and make a good throw to either one because of the quick pressure. Nobody accounted for Debo Williams. The last couple possessions, we've seen some linebacker pressures from South Carolina's defense.
Here's Maffa, untouched as he goes for 15 and more. Phil Maffa gives Clemson a first down with an 18-yard play.
Well, watch the block by Shipley. He's an unselfish back. He's going to lead for Maffa on this one. Gets the key block right there on the middle linebacker, Sherrod Green. And Maffa gets a 15-yard run.
It's reminiscent of last year when they didn't throw for much against South Carolina, but they've run the ball effectively. Over 200 yards now as a team, 201 rushing. Uiagalelei faked the run. Out wide for Shipley. Breaks one tackle from Manwari. And he gets slammed down, but a good gain. Looks like they might have another first down. O'Donnell Fortune made the stop for South Carolina. It is a first down.
A little misdirection stuff on this possession for Clemson. Get the defense going one way, come back the other way. There's Bo Collins in street clothes. They got him back after a shoulder injury in the Notre Dame game. Just got him back today. They were excited to get him back.
Kobe Pace, the running back. He gets the call. And breaking a couple of tackles, and he got taken down by Sherrod Green. Last year in the meeting in Columbia, DJ Uiagalelei threw for only 99 yards. That was his season low. He went 9 for 19, threw an interception. But Clemson piled up the rushing yards in a 30-0 win. Similar scenario here today.
Yep, 265 yards. They averaged over 6 yards a carry last year as well.
Kobe Pace remains the running back. They stick with the running game. He's tripped up short of the first down at the 11.
Kobe Pace had a 34-yard touchdown against South Carolina last year in Columbia. Done a little bit more with Shipley and Maffa this season, but
they have a nice trio of running backs. All three of them, Shipley, Pace, and Maffa, talented.
Well, this is where you have, with DJ and his ability to run, you have so many options with him and Shipley on 3rd and short.
There's some confusion on the Clemson sideline, and they're glad they ran the play because it's a touchdown. Will Shipley scored. Dabo Swinney was running down the sideline looking like he might call a timeout. There was a lot of commotion on his side right before the snap, but it's an 11-yard touchdown for Will Shipley.
What a beautiful play by Will Putnam. Watch the center come off with the guard here and then come off on the second level on the linebacker. Starts out with the guard, goes to the second level on the linebacker, and that's all Shipley needed. And again, when he sees the goal line and smells the end zone, he's going to score.
E.T. Potter, the extra point. And the lead goes back to 9, a 2-score game. Shipley with 123 yards rushing, averaging 9.5 per tote, and now he has a touchdown to go with it. Tonight on ABC, 7:30 Eastern Time, one of the great rivalries in college football on this rivalry weekend, Notre Dame and USC. Each coach making his debut in that rivalry is the head coach, Marcus Freeman and Lincoln Riley. First time it was the debut in the rivalry since 2010 for Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin. There's a B.T. Potter touchback. And here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, let's go back to the shoe. Michigan's big play passing attack has been the storyline so far, Dan.
Yeah, Ohio State's held Michigan at 35 yards rushing, but a lot of man coverage in the secondary by Ohio State, and they've burned them for 3 touchdowns.
Colston Loveland, the freshman, 45-yard touchdown catch. Michigan up. Meanwhile, Georgia in control 23-7 over on ESPN. Back to you.
Boy, Colston Loveland, an emerging star in the second half of the season for Michigan. Very little involvement from Blake Corum, was injured last week, and yet Michigan still has the lead. Here it's a 9-point lead for Clemson, in need of a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Backward pass to Jaheim Bell. He got away from Trotter and then got dumped by DeMonte Capehart. There's a look back at the touchdown. Dabo Swinney was starting to run down and call a timeout. And then the last minute, one of his assistant coaches told him, we're okay, we're okay. Gave the stop sign. They ran the play, and it wound up an 11-yard touchdown.
Well, when you give the ball to number 1 close to the goal line, you're pretty much going to be okay most of the time. He finds the end zone.
One of the great all-around players on offense in college football. Will Shipley having another big day. Spencer Rattler wants to launch a deep one, and it is caught. Juice Wells all the way, touchdown Gamecocks. 72 yards. Akuba couldn't stop that one. He stopped one at the 1 in the first half, and it was a huge play, but it's a new longest pass of his career for Spencer Rattler. Second time today he's established a career long.
A nice little change of pace by taking the quarterback and moving him out of the pocket and giving a little extra time, because this is a slow developing route. So they moved the launch point for Spencer Rattler, and he delivered another strike.
2 plays, the touchdown, 72. Rattler to Wells, second touchdown of the day for the junior from Richmond, Virginia.
Well, Wells has been pretty quiet for the most part, but this time again, he's going to run a deep route. The staggered start, he gets outside, and beautiful job by Rattler finding him, moving the launch point, giving the quarterback a little extra time, and then number 7 does the rest. Hits his favorite target, beats Makuba on the play, and this time Makuba not able to make the tackle and prevent a touchdown.
Wells, a transfer from James Madison, spent 2 seasons there, had 116 catches in 2 years and 21 touchdowns. He's by far their most important wide receiver in his first year in Columbia.
And they say he's hyper competitive. He kind of, you know, when he came from James Madison to the SEC, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, wanted to prove he was capable of playing at this level, and he has more than shown that. He's been an outstanding target for Spencer Rattler all season.
Off his season high 177 receiving yards last week. He's had 3 100-yard receiving games this year for the Gamecocks. He has 86 today. It's the longest play given up by the Clemson defense this season. Mitch Jeter, another touchback. Here's Molly.
Well, the frustration is settling in on Clemson's sideline. A group of Clemson defensive players, mostly in the secondary, were all yelling at each other, getting into a verbal altercation, and had to be separated by coaching staff. In our games covering Clemson, I've never seen players go at each other that way. So this defense very frustrated by those explosives, especially in the passing game.
Well, both teams have had a lot of explosive plays in this game. For South Carolina, mostly throws, and for Clemson, mostly runs.
Back to a 2-point game. And here's Phil Maffa. Lunging to the 30-yard line. It's the 3rd time now South Carolina has battled to get back within 2. They have not led in the game after falling behind 14-0 in the first quarter.
I mean, the total yardage right now is identical at 321, but look at how they're getting it done. South Carolina throwing the football, explosive plays, and Clemson just grinding it out. The combination of Shipley, Maffa, and DJ Uyunglele running the football.
DJ 6 for 20 passing. They give him a short completion there. Antonio Williams dropped for no gain. Crowd wanted a late hit on O'Donnell Fortune. He was fortunate not to get flagged.
I don't think there was anything there.
No.
Just getting him to the ground. Big 3rd down play here. You know, momentum is a real thing. In South Carolina, they get a stop from their defense right here. A chance to kind of seize momentum and quiet this crowd.
Yeah, they feel like they can score when they have the ball. 3rd down and 5. Uyunglele surrounded, gets it off, incomplete. The pressure forced the errant throw in the direction of E.J. Williams.
Yeah, this is good pressure over the new starting left guard. Here's the pressure here, and watch this linebacker. He's going to fake like he's dropping, and then he's going to come. And clearly, right now in the second half, Clayton White is saying we're going to pressure in pass situations. We're going to get after DJ and make him uncomfortable. And a nice 3-and-out by the defense.
Jack Pickens. The defense forcing the second 3-and-out of Clemson this half. 3rd of the game. Swanson. Another less than elegant looking kick that came to a rest at the 29-yard line. 41-yard punt. Effective. We'll be back in 8 seconds after a look from Ram Trucks.
Built to serve.
So a chance for the lead for the first time today for South Carolina. Spencer Rattler has had an up and down day, a lot like his season and career. 16 of 27 for 298, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. A lot of run after the catch for Juice Wells, and tripped up by Nate Wiggins after a South Carolina first down to the 43.
Great first down call because pressure's coming from the opposite side. Pressure's coming from here from the short side, so they throw the quick screen out to this side, to the wide side of the field. Ball's out of the quarterback's hands. Pressure can't get there, and a nice first down play for South Carolina.
Up and down season for Rattler, up and down season for the team, especially for the offense. And 2 weeks ago at Florida, they scored 6 points, and it was on a fake in the special teams. They got hammered by the Gators. Then they scored 63 last week. They have 28 and counting. not through 3 quarters against the very salty Clemson defense. Jaheim Bell to the 48-yard line for 5.
Miles Murphy limping off the field after that play right there, too. One of the best defensive linemen for this Clemson defense. We've not seen much of Brian Brzee today. He has been in a few plays. He hasn't played for a couple weeks. He's not out there right now.
They missed last week with strep throat. They go back to Joyner, the Wildcat quarterback.
The previous play is under further review for a potential targeting.
Daniel Boldrick in the replay booth. Jordan Craddock is the communicator. It is an SEC officiating crew. They do have collaborative replay with assistants from back in Birmingham. It's R.J. Mickens.
Now the question is, did he lead with the crown of this helmet? He's not a defenseless player. He's a runner.
And he awaits his fate. Let's take another look. Give Matt Austin another look at it. This seems to be the best vantage point. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that number 9 lowered his head and he was attacking, and there wasn't. He did attack with force. I do think this is targeting, and it will be confirmed.
Yeah. That would be a big loss. He's had some key plays this season on defense. Son of Ray Mickens, played at A&M and in the NFL for a long time.
Well, and earlier in the game on a special teams play, Jalen Phillips, one of their other starting safeties, kind of hobbled off the field. Not sure what his status is. They have Makuba and Phillips and Mickens have all kind of shared starting duties at safety for this Clemson defense.
Phillips limping.
And he doesn't have his helmet. And if this targeting stands, he may have to play if he's capable of playing. Otherwise, they go to a freshman, Sherrod Koval.
But I would think the replay booth wouldn't have stopped it unless they thought they saw targeting. Referee is Matt Leffler. This is a big review, and it's taking a while with 59 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
When this Clemson defense has had problems early in the year, it was in their secondary against the pass. The only game they did not control the line of scrimmage was at Notre Dame, when they gave up well over 200 yards rushing. In fact, Notre Dame had 2 running backs, both went over 100 yards. Every other game, they've kind of controlled the line of scrimmage and take pressure off their secondary. But
well, here comes the announcement.
After review, personal foul targeting using the crown of the helmet on the defense, number 9. That player is disqualified.
Well, big call. Good work by the replay booth, because it certainly did seem to be targeting. Well, so Mickens is out, and they have Carson Donnelly in, a graduate student, has played very little. Matter of fact, he has 1 tackle and 1 pass breakup all year.
And they have Sherrod Koval, the freshman. So they have 2 probably 3rd-team safeties in right now against Spencer Rattler in this pass offense. If I'm Marcus Satterfield, I'm saying, let's go after these 2 guys here. Let's see if we can attack these new safeties in the ball game.
The penalty gives Carolina first down at the 37. Swung out wide to Wells. They get it to their best playmaker at wide receiver. He runs down to the 22. Well, it could be the last play. Well, they stopped the game clock to move the chains.
You know, the other unfortunate thing for Mickens and this Clemson defense is not only does he not get to play the rest of this game, he'll miss the first half of the ACC championship game in Charlotte next weekend as well.
So Mickens out. Jalen Phillips, who didn't have his helmet, was limping a bit, is back on the field. And they'll take it to the 4th quarter. One of the great rivalries in college football. It'll be decided in the final 15 minutes, or perhaps more. Clemson by 2. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Clemson has led throughout, but it's a tenuous 2-point lead. The crowd trying to do its part to maintain it. They're 126-2 since 2011 when leading after 3 quarters. Low throw caught by Wells on 1st and 10 from the Clemson 22, and he dances to the 18-yard line. The only losses in that stretch when leading after 3 to Alabama in the national championship game at the end of the 2015 season, and the last home loss here to Pitt, November 12th of 2016. That's a 40-game home winning streak since. That's also on the line. We mentioned it was a field goal by Pitt that won it. We said to Dabo Sweeney, you could easily have a 60-game home winning streak. He said, well, we had a lot of close calls that we won since that Pitt game. Wildcat quarterback again with Joyner. He gave it off to Jaheim Bell. And he's very near the first down marker. No signal yet.
You know, it doesn't look like it when you look at the numbers, but South Carolina has run the ball better in the second half. And Jaheim Bell has given them a little bit of a spark running the football. It still is going to come down to the throwing of Spencer Rattler if they're going to win this football game. But they have gotten a few better runs out of Bell here in the second half.
It is a first down. At the very least, they're in field goal range. Rattler's made some huge plays. He's also made some critical mistakes. He has to avoid that here in the red zone. They bring a blitz from Woodaz. It's a swing pass to Bell. Jaheim Bell got rocked. There is a flag down at the 10-yard line along the near numbers.
Yeah, there were 2 receivers out there blocking. It was Wells and Jalen Brooks, and they're going to get one of them, I think, for a hold or an illegal block.
Jalen Phillips, who's been hobbling, who delivered the big hit at the end of the play.
It's a nice play call by Marcus Satterfield. Again, you see the versatility of Jaheim Bell. You hand it to him in the backfield.
Personal foul, face mask, number 3 on the offense. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It is first down.
Wells, not arguing, knows it was his mistake. He's a lead blocker. Trying to block out there on Koval, the freshman.
No question.
Got his hand in the face mask. Negates a very nice play.
In a penalty-free game, that's the second against South Carolina. Clemson's been flagged 3 times. They're back on the 25. 1st and 23. Another well-called game by Marcus Satterfield. Probably having a lot of Gamecock fans wondering, where has this been before the last couple of weeks. Rattler dropped for a loss by Jeremiah Trotter. Now, Todd, they also have to worry about just staying in field goal range. They have an excellent kicker in Mitch Jeter. And from here it would be about a 43, 44-yard kick.
Yeah, that's what I think you're thinking about on these next 2 downs. 2nd and 3rd down, you're thinking about, okay, let's chip our way back into field goal range. Worst case scenario, let's come out of here with 3 and a 1-point lead. And that's got to translate to Spencer Rattler not forcing the issue here when he's throwing the football.
He's thrown for 330 after the 438 against Tennessee. Throws caught. Atkins having a big day. Out of bounds just inside the 21-yard line. He had 4 catches all year. That one is good for 5. And he has matched that total today. His dad, the offensive line coach, Greg Atkins.
Well, I think they've accomplished what they wanted, which was get back into reasonable field goal range. They got another play on 3rd and 19. Again, if there's something wide open by the end zone, take it. If not, another completion. They might have to burn a timeout, though. The play clock's down. I don't know if Spencer knows it. There's the timeout by Shane Beamer. I don't think Spencer Rattler knew where the play clock was, and Beamer had to waste a timeout.
Timeout, South Carolina.
With 11:39 to go. The Palmetto Bowl, a dandy in the upstate. Big play here out of the timeout. South Carolina in field goal range, down by 2, facing 3rd and 18.
I'm all for the aggressive play calling Marcus Satterfield has done the last couple weeks, but I think you go conservative here and you play for the lead. Put the ball where you want your kicker to kick from and play smart.
Rattler takes off running and gets tackled from behind, but did get them between the hash marks. Trenton Simpson, the outstanding junior linebacker from Charlotte, ran him down. He's one of the semifinalists for the Butkus Award. So here's the first field goal attempt today by either team, and it's the first in a while for Jeter, who did not attempt any in the last 2 games. This is his first year as the starting field goal kicker. He's 9 for 9. Parker White made his last 7 last year. So South Carolina field goal kickers have made their last 16 and 25 of 26 from 35 yards straight on. Good. And those of you who believe in the announcer jinx, remember that one. They haven't missed a field goal in more than a year. The last miss was White, October 16th of last year, a 38-yarder against Vanderbilt. Jeter's 10 for 10 now as a collegiate. Very entertaining second half.
This was a key 3rd down conversion on the pass out of the backfield to Atkins. Jaheim Bell touchdown. It's just been one punch after another. Shipley in the end zone on a great power run where Dabo was thinking about calling timeouts. Spencer Rattler to Juice Wells for the touchdown. And then this is the field goal that put them in front. And it was a good job by Rattler running the football to the middle of the field, protecting it. Let's get out of here with the lead and put the pressure on DJ Uiagalelei and Clemson's offense.
First lead for South Carolina, not only today, but against Clemson since 2018, when they led that game 7-0. They wound up losing. They had scored only 3 points in the 2 games since. They didn't play in 2020 because of COVID, when the SEC played a conference-only schedule. They had played every year from 1909 to 2019. The kickoff is a touchback. And this is a great rivalry. There are a lot of them around college football. But Dabo Sweeney talked to us yesterday. It's a small state. There really aren't professional sports in this state, so it means a lot.
It really does. And for South Carolina, even though this is only Shane Beamer's 2nd year and he's not responsible for what happened before him, I mean, they've lost 7 in a row to this team. And so, Clemson's trying to make it 8, and South Carolina is trying to right the ship in terms of this rivalry.
Uiagalelei. They stick with the ground game, and he gets 3. Alex Huntley made the tackle, and now so much on the line for Clemson. A loss will certainly take them out of the college football playoff picture. They're trying to win 8 straight games. The 7 wins in a row matches the longest streak for either team in this rivalry. You have to go back to the 30s for the other Clemson 7-game winning streak, and they have hammered South Carolina during those 7. Won each of the last 5 by at least 21 points. And the ball slips out of Uiagalelei's hands, and he has to get on it back at the 20.
So I've seen a few funky things from him today. I mean, a couple balls that have fluttered out of his hands where he doesn't look like he knew where he wanted to throw it. This one just is going to kind of slip out. I think it's an incomplete pass. I don't know what he was squeezing the ball for.
10-14, please. 10-14.
But he looked like he tried to double clutch it and couldn't pull it back. But I think that's an incomplete pass.
Reminiscent of what we New Englanders are familiar with, the old tuck rule.
Nonetheless, a big 3rd down play right here for him.
No question. Just 7 for 23 passing. Pressure up the middle, right in his face. He throws incomplete.
Well, this has been Clayton White's recipe in the second half. We're going to bring linebacker pressure. We're going to rush 4, and we're going to bring a linebacker. And that time it was Brad Johnson again. Here he is right here. He's going to find a crease. And when you get inside pressure, it's the hardest thing for a quarterback. They had him and they had Jordan Birch both there, and DJ Uiagalelei just had to get rid of the football.
What a performance by the Gamecock defense. Bear in mind, 9 of the points on the board for Clemson. Came on an interception return for a touchdown to safety. And Rattler was called for intentional grounding in the end zone. Swanson's punt handled by Amari and Brown in reverse and down. They'll mark it at the 18-yard line. Well covered by Keith McGuire. A 50-yard punt. Loss of 4 on the return.
South Carolina starting to seize momentum behind an aggressive defense and a hot quarterback.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats. And in part by Duluth Trading Company. Clothing and gear designed and tested to do.
2008 Palmetto Bowl won by Clemson. Dabo Swinney, then the interim coach, that played a big part in his getting the job on a full-time basis. They're up against it. They won that game. Then he lost the next 5 to South Carolina against Steve Spurrier. And then Clemson has won the last 7. But down by a point with 9:59 to go, and it's South Carolina ball from its own 18. Rattler out wide again. Amari and Brown scampers out of bounds to the 23-yard line.
Seen a lot of that here in the second half for South Carolina. The quick throws out to the wide receivers, getting the ball out of Spencer Rattler's hands. Also seen Marcus Satterfield move his quarterback some. Nice job here in the third quarter and fourth quarter, trying to change the tide, the narrative, the trajectory of this series and this program.
And they've never beaten top 10 opponents on back-to-back weeks. Catch, first down, 30-yard line. It's Jalen Brooks. And you mentioned they've gone to the short throws, but when they've thrown it deep today against Dabo's defense, they've done it very effectively. Rattler is 6 out of 9 on throws that have traveled 20 yards or more in the air for 248 and a touchdown. That is the most such completions against Clemson since at least 2011. They're still doing the research, trying to go back further than that.
Well, and a big part of that, when you throw the ball that far down the field, you better have good protection. And I think for the most part, this front 5 of South Carolina has done a nice job.
Rattler's completed 10 in a row. Marshawn Lloyd for 3. Here's Molly.
Well, quarterback Spencer Rattler was full of confidence on the sidelines, telling his offense, we're up. This is our game now. Let's speed it up, keep them on their heels. And he told his wide receivers, we have to go into attack mode to win this game. Sean.
Yeah, I think they've got to score again, at least 3. You know, because on the other side, B.T. Potter is one of the best in the business in college football in terms of who you'd want to kick a game-winning kick. So I think South Carolina's got to be aggressive and think we got to score again here to make sure we can try to secure this one.
Both of these kickers have big legs. South Carolina taking the play clock all the way down. Marshawn Lloyd chugs ahead, 2 yards short of the first down.
Again, it just feels different here in the second half. At the end of the first half, South Carolina had 20 yards rushing. So the stats only say they have 47 right now, but it feels like more because they've had a little bit more successful plays. They've had better balance here in the second half. Right now, Shane Beamer is playing the clock, because the longer this clock goes down, the more pressure it puts on DJ Uiagalelei and the Clemson offense. They're the favorite in this game.
Another sign of a well-coached team. They just did get it off. Rattler on third down. His receiver went down to the ground coming out of his break, Jalen Brooks, and he did not make the catch.
Yeah, good coverage by Nate Wiggins. He was right there. The ball is low, and clearly the ball hits the ground and bounces up into the arms of Jalen Brooks.
Shane Beamer hesitated for a moment, then sent the punt team out. You absolutely have to punt.
Oh, yeah.
In this situation, if you turn it over on downs here, they're already in field goal range with Potter's leg.
And Kroger's done a great job today so far, but you got to be careful with Antonio Williams. He is a dangerous punt returner if you don't put this ball in the right spot.
Lost their starting punt returner, Will Taylor, to injury. Here's another line drive rocket. It takes a great bounce. And another great bounce. And the special teams come to the forefront again for Pete Lembo and South Carolina. '61-yard punt, and they down it at the 2.
You just can't do it any better. I mean, it's a driving punt, and then you get the perfect checkup. Wow.
Inspired by that 70s rock music. Next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, the exclusive reveal will be the final listing of the college football playoff rankings. The matchups in the Fiesta and Peach Bowls to be played on New Year's Eve. New Year's 6 Bowls, final top 25 rankings, a 4-hour special. The flag thrown after the run by Shipley.
I think it might be a face mask, Sean. I think it might
out to the 9-yard line. That's next Sunday at noon. Of course, there is the Tuesday night ranking update this Tuesday night.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 6. Penalty be added to the end of the run. First down.
I mean, it's a good run by Shipley, but clearly Zach Pickens has a hold of the face mask. And so now, after that great job by your punt team, Clemson has a first down out beyond the 20-yard line. A lot of time, 6:54, and again, you've got one of the best kickers in college football in B.T. Potter.
There's 8 career field goals of 50 yards or more, most in Clemson history. Uyunglele for Allen, too long, and intercepted by Marcellus Dial. Allen was stumbling a bit at the 40-yard line, and Dial has his 3rd career interception all this season.
I know Davis Allen has been a good target for DJ Uyunglele, but normally you want a tight end working on a safety or a linebacker. This is one of their starting corners, and it's kind of a mismatch in favor of the defense. Marcellus Dial is right in position. It was another linebacker pressure up the middle, but this is picking on the wrong guy. Throwing a tight end against a starting corner, and Marcellus Dial comes away with the pick.
Shane Beamer said the strength of our defense is the corners. First down, South Carolina, 6:35 to go. Bell stopped, and it's a 1-yard loss as he ran into the true freshman Sherrod Koval. They're playing without R.J. Mickens, ejected for targeting earlier in this half. So much on the line. The 40-game home winning streak back to November 12th of 2016. 7 straight wins against South Carolina, 68 wins in a row when leading at halftime. That also dates back to that loss against Pitt here.
Well, again, Shane Beamer right now is playing the clock because he's got confidence in the way his defense is playing right now. But is 1 point going to be enough?
Jaheim Bell trying to bounce it outside and turn the corner. And there's a flag down near the hash marks as Bell went out of bounds at the 36. It's going to be a holding call against the Gamecocks.
Sudden change defense by Clemson, outstanding right now. You know, your offense turns it over. It's a real heartbreaker.
On the offense, number 52, 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Could have been 3rd down and 9. Dabo Sweeney electing to take the penalty yardage back to the 26.
Jalen Nichols, the starting left tackle, guilty of that penalty. And again, sudden change defense. Your offense turns it over. Your defense comes on the field. It's been the strength of your team, and you're counting on them right here.
Trenton Simpson, the outstanding linebacker, came off, looked to be hobbled after that last play.
I would expect pressure here by Clemson.
Rattler, a deep drop. And he throws it away. Under pressure. Here's the previous play when Simpson was hurt while being involved in the tackle.
Well, again, if you're Spencer Rattler, you've done a nice job today. You've thrown for 347 yards and a couple touchdowns. You've overcome the costly interceptions in the first half, but you got to be smart here on 3rd and 19. Punting the football is not the worst thing that you can have happen right here. Do not give a short field to Clemson.
The play clock running down. Shane Beamer uses his second timeout.
30-second timeout.
.5:18 to go. South Carolina by 1. We look at today's college football playoff rankings. Brought to you by Capital One. Clemson number 8 starting today. Obviously, Todd, they would need a bunch of things to happen, but the most important thing isn't going their way, and that's winning today, winning next week against North Carolina in the ACC championship game.
Yeah.
Ohio State or Michigan are going to lose today. LSU could well lose to Georgia in the SEC championship game. TCU might lose. I mean, there's a path, and it isn't that unrealistic, but say
they
goodbye.
Got their hands full today.
Yeah, say goodbye.
It all
you wonder
matters
if
about
they eke
today.
out a win, how the committee's going to look at that. I do think what we've seen again today, and as we saw last week, this is a talented South Carolina team.
And we knew if they were ever going to come into a game confident, it would have been off of last week's performance. And we've seen a team that believes in themselves and is playing Clemson well.
They give him a very safe throw. Wells gets out to the 34-yard line. KJ Henry ran him down. So here comes Kroger, who, along with the coverage team, has been one of the brightest stars today for the Gamecocks. Shane Beamer said we need to have an edge in special teams. He's punted 5 times, 59, 46, 41, 61, and 61.
Wow. And 2 of them inside the 5.
Correct. We'll let the play clock go all the way down again. No rush for Clemson. He's trying to angle this one away from Williams. Take away the possibility of return. And how about this? How about that? There are a lot of great assistant coaches this year around the country. Hard to imagine anybody's group has done a better job than Pete Lembo's special teams. 63 that time.
Book and Kevin back in studio. How about Michigan's J.J. McCarthy? 4 total touchdowns, Book.
Yeah, Blake Corum out. He's their second leading rusher today, Kev.
Largest lead for Michigan right now, 31-20 at the shoe. Sean, back to you.
All right, terrific Saturday of college football. These games so important. Clemson down by a point, running out of time, and backed up to their own 3. Will Shipley for a yard, and that's about all. Stopped by Brad Johnson. Sean T. Potter warming up.
DJ Uiagalelei has not had a good game, right? He's 28% completion, 7 of 25, under 100 yards, has the bad interception, their last possession. But he's going to have to make plays here, right? Because South Carolina is daring him to throw, and they're not going to just run the ball into field goal range. They've got to hit some throws, and he's got to find some confidence.
Tossed it out, and Shipley. Big tackle in the open field by Sherrod Green. Doesn't even feel like they've tried to throw the ball down the field. They did lose one of their deep threats, Bo Collins, earlier in the game.
Well, here's his opportunity right here. 3rd down. Antonio Williams is his best receiver. He's in the slot to the left. And Davis Allen is his favorite target out there right now, the tight end.
3rd down and 5. They have all 3 timeouts left as we approach 3 minutes. Clemson in a heap of trouble. Deep throw, and Williams got yanked down. Probably a good penalty because it looked like he had a step on Cam Smith.
Yeah, it was a little kind of a stutter and go, and it beat Cam Smith. Cam Smith has been lined up in man-to-man almost the entire game on Antonio Williams.
Pass interference on the defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty. It is 1st down.
He had some safety help from Eamon Worry, but No question about the penalty. 23-yard line now, the line of scrimmage.
Going under 3 minutes here.
We have seen Clemson during this long home winning streak eke some out in the final moments a couple of times in recent years against Syracuse. That's dropped by E.J. Williams.
Again, no Bo Collins, so it's got to be the guys that they got, and those are catches that have to be made.
There really no one who is that speed burner who really scares you deep, especially without Collins. 2nd and 10, 2:58 to go. The career long for Potter's 52. Uyunglele for Ngata off his hand and incomplete.
I'll tell you who's played really well today for South Carolina is Marcellus Dial. Again, when we talked to Clayton White, he said he's been a good cover guy all year. Where he really wants to challenge himself is the 50-50 balls, making plays on the football. He had an interception earlier, and he has made a lot of plays on the football today opposite Darius Rush at cornerback.
Dabo Swinney did have Potter try a 59-yarder last week that came up just short. They have to get near the 40 of South Carolina. Uyunglele through the hands of Ngata. Just a little bit too high. It was Dial who had the coverage. And if the throw was on target, it was a gain to midfield. And with 2:49 to go and all 3 timeouts, Dabo Swinney will punt on 4th and 10.
Yeah, DJ did a good job of stepping up against the pressure. There's going to be a blitz by a linebacker. He comes unblocked. DJ has to avoid him and then reload and just kind of overthrows Ngata in the middle. But it did a nice job of avoiding the sack to even get that throw off.
Juan Banks came on a blitz. Swanson. Nobody back for South Carolina. And that is a bomb by Aiden Swanson. Rolls dead at the 17, a 51-yard punt. Clemson trailing by 1. They haven't lost here since November 12, 2016. A wild game. Chris blew it. Did not blow it. 48-yarder with 6 seconds left. Pitt and Pat Narduzzi beat number 3 Clemson 43-42. We should point out that Clemson went on to win the national championship that year. No member of this team has lost a home game. They were trying today to make it 6 consecutive undefeated seasons at home. There's still a chance, but the defense needs a 3 and out. Marshawn Lloyd powers out across the 20. They'll mark him right on the 20. And Dabo uses his first timeout.
It's really a good run by Marshawn Lloyd. He hasn't had a lot of running room. That time he followed his right guard, Ja'Kai Moore, up in there for a positive gain of 4 yards. And yards are critical and hard to come by right now at this point in the game.
Such an entertaining game.
Oh, man.
To me, a tip of the cap to the coaching staff of South Carolina. You know, Shane Beamer, you heard his belief at the half. You know, he said at one point to Molly, we're going to win the game in the second half. Yeah. Spencer Rattler's going to help us do it. The special teams, Joe Tessitore just sent us a text. He's never seen special teams execute like this group does week in and week out. Great defensive game plan, a lot of blitzes, and the offensive creativity again.
Yeah, they've done a great job, and they did a great job of flushing the huge win a week ago and coming in ready to play today in all 3 phases.
2nd and 6. Rattler, design run. He gets dumped for a loss by Jeremiah Trotter. 2.5 to go.
Second charge timeout. Clemson. 30-second timeout.
They've thrown Beamer had tears in his eyes when they beat Tennessee last week. His 45-year-old son, Shane Beamer, with the biggest win of his head coaching career in year 2, trying to become the first coach ever to beat back-to-back top 10 opponents in South Carolina history.
Yeah. Well, Sean, here, if you're Marcus Satterfield and Shane Beamer, you're forcing Dabo to use timeouts, but do you trust Spencer Rattler to make a throw here on 3rd and 8 and the 3rd and 7, this part of the field? If you get the first down, it gives you some breathing room.
It gives you a ton of breathing room. What would you do?
I would let him throw it, but I would talk to him during that timeout and say, if it is not there, unload it. Don't take a sack and don't put the ball in harm's way. But go ahead and take a shot if you got it.
Giving him a lot of safe throws here in the second half. After he made a couple of mistakes in the first half, both of which hurt. Scrambling around and throws it away. Running out of time near the sideline. And so they need another big punt, do the Gamecocks. Because if they don't get a good punt, it's not going to be much for Clemson to get into field goal range for B.T. Potter.
And the good thing for Dabo Swinney is because the ball was incomplete, he didn't have to use that last timeout. He could save it. So he's got one timeout for his offense with 2:22 left in the ball game.
So here's Kroger, who's averaged just under 55. The last three have gone 60+. Antonio Williams standing at his own 30. Very little breeze. This one is at his best. It's returnable for Williams from the 36. Antonio Williams.
Ball's out.
The ball comes out. And the special teams of South Carolina take it away again.
We saw it on a kickoff return, a fumble by Maffa. Now Antonio Williams, after a good return, the ball gets ripped out. I think that it was Nate Atkins, number 44, who pulled the ball out, and then it was recovered by South Carolina.
By Nick Eamon-Wari, the true freshman.
Yep, it was punched out by Atkins, who's done a little bit of everything today for this Gamecock team. Watch him, number 44. He grabs with the right hand, with the left hand, he punches the ball out. And South Carolina's special teams with yet another incredible play. And they were going to have the ball right around the 50.
Lloyd wants to make sure he stays in bounds. Clemson with only one timeout. And Coach Swinney uses it with 2:03 to go. And that's been a problem in recent weeks.
Yeah,
the turnovers.
That's right.
Clemson this year started with only 5 turnovers through their first 7 games. That was their fewest through 7 games since 2005. But coming into today, they had committed 12 turnovers in the last 4 games. And
3 more today.
3 more today.
And, you know, Dabo said, we got to change that. We've been able to still control the game other than the game in South Bend. As you see him talking to his talented freshman wide receiver. But sooner or later, when you're careless with the football like that, it's going to come back and bite you.
Marshawn Lloyd returned to action today for what is about to be one of the biggest wins in program history if they can finish the job. Clemson -1 in turnover margin today. It'll be the 5th straight game that they've been on the negative side of the turnover margin. You're not going to keep winning.
No, you're not.
When that happens, you have to go back to 2011, the last time they had lost the turnover battle 4 games in a row.
Spencer Rattler wants to let this play clock go all the way down. It's at 5 right now. Milk that clock.
3rd and 4.
They call timeout. I like
saw
it.
the play clock about to expire.
I think that's what the plan was. I think Shane Beamer said, take it all the way down. Let's call timeout. Let's milk the clock the best way we can here.
Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, want to remind our audience, Bo Nix in Oregon, first Civil War game for him. Ducks can clinch a Pac-12 championship with the win over Oregon State. Donovan Edwards, 75-yard run for Michigan. They're up by 15 over Ohio State. By the way, this game could be moving to ESPN News, Oregon State. We will have an update as it continues.
Blake Corum, very little to do today. Donovan Edwards in the second half has been lights out for Michigan. Wolverines trying to make it 2 in a row. And South Carolina trying to end a 7-game losing streak.
trying to extinguish Clemson's playoff hopes, end the 40-game home winning streak. Juice Wells needs the 35, and he has it.
What an effort. Eluded the freshman safety, Sherrod Koval, as we said, who had to come in here because of the injury to Phillips, the ejection of Mickens, and just tremendous individual effort by Juice Wells to get the first down.
Shane Beamer, born in South Carolina, in Charleston, when his dad coached at the Citadel as an assistant. Was an assistant at South Carolina. He believes that they can be better in football than they have been. He told his team, after what you did last week, today you have a chance to change the narrative and change the trajectory. And the arrows are pointing up.
Unbelievable. 2 weeks in a row, he talked about changing the narrative and the trajectory of the program. That's the way to do it. Back-to-back games like that.
Number 5, Tennessee, knocking them out of the college football playoff picture. And he's done the same to Dabo Swinney and the Tigers. A lot of admiration. We talked to Dabo yesterday. I really like Shane Beamer, and I'm not supposed to like the South Carolina coach, but I do. And Molly is with Shane Beamer.
Coach getting some hugs from his family. Coach, you told Spencer Rattler at halftime if you were going to win this game, it would be because of him. What did you see from your quarterback in the second half?
Guts. He's a hell of a football player. And he's a hell of a player. I'm so glad he's our quarterback. How about the fight of our team, though? I mean, they never flinched. And that is a championship team that we just beat. But I'm just so happy for our players.
Your special teams with the crucial play in the final couple minutes. How proud would Dad be of that one?
He's in the stands somewhere. I know he's proud. But what a win. You talk about all 3 phases. I'm just so happy for our fans, Molly. This has been a long time coming. I mean, you see the excitement by our fans. It's a great day for all Gamecocks.
Second straight win over a top 10 team. First time that's ever happened in South Carolina history. What does this do for the trajectory of this program?
We're just getting started. I feel like we're in our own college football playoff with the way we played the last 2 weeks. And I heard Jesse Palmer on TV last night. And I love Jesse, but he said Clemson needs a big win to impress the community. Clemson needed to worry about winning the football game because we had a confident bunch and we had a hell of a football team coming in here. And I think the narrative was that we were a feel-good story. We got a good football team and we showed it.
All right, well, congratulations on the win, Coach.
Yeah, a lot of really good football players, including Nate Atkins, who you just saw. Shane, his wife, Emily, the parents of 3 children. Last week, before the game at Tennessee, his daughter, Olivia, said, Dad, for Christmas, I just want to storm the field. And she got her Christmas wish. It was hard to find her in that scene. And not as many Gamecocks here today, but they've stormed the field for the 2nd week in a row. It is definitely more than just a feel-good story. The longest active home winning streak ends at 40. Final score, South Carolina 31, Clemson 30. Let's send you back to the studio.